Dom,
Hey,
you're
Mike,
here.
what's up?
Not too much, man. We're both here, so we both made it.
We're both here, and without further ado, we are here to discuss the 1988 British comedy classic A Fish Called Wanda, starring, you can see them all there, John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline, and Michael Palin.
Yep, and that is the bulk of the cast. And what a cast. It's a
I know, I know.
terrific group.
Although John Cleese's daughter makes an appearance.
Oh, is that right? Who was the daughter? Not Portia.
Yeah,
Was it really?
yes, yes, it was his daughter in the movie.
Wow, because she was great. And I love when the mother goes, "Shut up. Oh, shut up, Portia." That's one of the highlights of the movie.
So, for those of you following along at home, in case you haven't seen this movie, because this isn't quite as popular as a lot of movies that we've done, it's still fairly popular. But just in case British comedies aren't your thing, we follow a group of diamond thieves. Kevin Kline, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Michael Palin are all in this group that has come together to do a diamond heist. And the diamonds have been stolen, but then one member, Kevin Kline, double crosses the leader and gets him in jail.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
from then
yeah.
on, it's a mad scramble to find the diamonds, see where they are.
Right.
And in the process, Jamie Lee Curtis tries to seduce John Cleese, the ringleader's barrister or lawyer, given that we're in the States.
Basically to get the inside information and where the location of the diamonds are because they've been switched. But yes, it's
Um, I don't know what logic made them think that John Cleese's character would know that. If I were the criminal that stole them, the last thing I would want is my lawyer knowing about the evidence.
well, I guess the way that I saw it, because actually it had been a few years since I had reviewed this, and watching it again. Apparently the whole idea was if the case falls apart, then they're going to have to hawk the diamonds or use the diamonds as leverage. So, and of course the case did fall apart because she made it fall apart. But the idea was if it fell apart, he was going to have to leverage the location of the diamonds and then getting back the diamonds in order to secure a lighter sentence. And so he would have to tell his lawyer at that point. And so they were banking on the fact that when she sabotaged it, um, that he would get the location. So it was quite a risky gamble. And seeing how she was also romancing the stutterer, Michael Palin, who did a brilliant job in that, um, it seems to me she would have been better off putting her time to seducing him to the point where he would have given up the location.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't seem like that it would have been hard.
no, no. And think about it. She was romancing everybody in this movie
Mhm.
because because she was seducing John Cleese. She had her brother Kevin Kline was her actual lover, the uh, fake brother, and then of course even Michael Palin was being romanced by her on the side. So it was pretty crazy. Oh, and then George, the mastermind of the Diamond Heist, she was romancing him. So
Yep, yep. It's funny. I would have loved to have seen a prequel to this
yeah.
because it wouldn't have had John Cleese's character. But can you imagine these four stealing diamonds together?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure how that plan would have worked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a dysfunctional group, for one thing.
Right.
I mean, it was completely dysfunctional to the point of like violence towards each other, and Kevin Kline is terrific in this. Yeah, I think he almost steals the movie from a really talented group
You're
with
right.
his
You're right.
psychotic portrayal. I mean, the way he abuses this poor guy, Michael Palin, is absolutely terrible. And then just all the other stuff that he's doing behind the scenes. dangling John Cleese out the window when John Cleese is being romanced by, and there he is spying on the two of them. Uh, it's uh, it's a lot of craziness, a lot
Mhm.
of crazy. It's a
It's
madcap
funny,
movie.
like, I know John Cleese as funny, but he almost plays a straight guy in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, I do often see him. He plays a funny man, but but I do often also see him in a role of he's like the funny straight man.
Mhm.
He would always, even in Monty Python, he would always play someone very dignified, but was foolishly dignified. You know, the minister of silly walks. You know, with that long-legged, he was so damn tall, and then that long-legged walk of his, and the minister of silly walks. He's been great playing straight-laced characters too, and making
Mhm.
them funny. I mean, look at Faulty Towers.
Yep.
He starred in Faulty Towers as Basil Faulty. If anyone has never seen Faulty Towers, you owe it to yourself to go there and see that wonderful cast, and you know, just a funny TV series. Brit again,
In
British
Faulty
comedy.
Towers, his character wasn't as a straight man as in this movie. In Faulty Towers, he's cracking
True.
sarcastic one-liners left and right.
True, he's a bit of a nut in Faulty Towers, but he's always trying to like be normal, but he can't. He just and of course the surrounding cast with him. But yeah, everything I see John Cleese do, he tackles it well, and he one of I think he's actually like not even really given the full credit. He's probably one of the funnier comedians, of our time. He's just a funny comedian. Um,
Mhm.
Tears it up when he's on screen. But Kevin Kline in this one threatened to steal the show.
Oh, he just blew it away.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
won an Academy Award for this.
Well, and rightly so. I mean, I actually really feel like without his maniacal performance, and here he is as as her brother, and
Her
Mike,
brother.
yeah, exactly, and Michael Palin turning and just catching it, but it's so quick. He pulls his hand away, and it's like, did I really see what I saw? So yeah, it's hilarious stuff. Again,
So
if you guys haven't seen it, you must.
John Cleese co-wrote this.
Okay, I didn't realize that either, but that's
Yeah,
cool.
Fish Called Wanda. It's him and it's a guy named, oh, what's his name? Charles Crichton.
Okay, okay, yep, I recognize that. Yep, recognize that name. Was he mostly on the screenplay, or was he, um, or was there? But this wasn't based off a book, in other words, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay. So total screenplay. Yeah, it's a great screenplay, and actually there could have been either a sequel or uh, or even a you know um,
There was
just
sort of a
a
sequel.
prequel. Yeah, I mean,
So this was followed. This cast came together for another movie called Fierce Creatures.
okay, all right.
In when was that? Let me see. 97.
Hmm. Yeah, news to me. I didn't know that. I only
They
know.
they have adamantly avoided the word sequel,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's clear these are the same people.
right, right. Huh? No, I haven't checked that one out. Have you seen it? Is it any good? Is it
I have not seen it. I haven't heard great things about it.
right? Yeah, as most sequels or prequels tend to be. But the fish in this scene behind me, of course, is the fish called Wanda. But then again, Jamie Lee Curtis is also Wanda, and and there's the location of the missing key that everybody's looking for, which is the key to the location of the diamonds. And it, of course, it is hidden right clearly in that fish tank with that little treasure box, right, with the gold banding on it, right below Kevin Kline's chin. That is where the key has been hidden, and nobody seems to to know about it. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I don't
pretty,
know if that was meant to be a clever hiding spot
it
in
certainly wasn't.
1988,
Yeah,
but it's like one of the first places I would look these days.
yeah, I'm absolutely. It's it's definitely one of the for and John Cleese again. This is him getting caught in a client's uh, in a client's house that he thinks is just away from another country, and of course he's having a little tryst with Jamie Lee Curtis, and in come a family that's rented the place for a short period of time. So yeah, the entire movie is madcap comedy, and he absolutely falls. He's in a loveless marriage, and he absolutely falls for Jamie Lee Curtis, who is mostly just playing him on. But they do start when she realizes he can also speak Italian, then
You
and
know,
other
she
languages.
seems to fall for him very quickly.
Yeah,
like I get her seducing him. She's supposed to be a con woman, so it's
yeah,
what she does. But she actually seems to be developing feelings for him by the end of the movie, which could only have taken place over a few days.
yeah. But also I do also see that even though she appeared to be, and in the end goes with him, I also kind of saw that she's a streetwise mama that I got the impression that it wouldn't take much for her to turn on John Cleese, and that those diamonds suddenly to end up in her hands after they got to wherever they were going. So yeah, I have a feeling she's mostly in it for her. So they're con artists, but man, she's the con artist head.
So the role of Wanda was
Yes.
basically written for her.
Okay. Yeah.
John
Person.
Cleese saw her in Trading Places,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was like, "Yep, that's the one for this role."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Believe me, she's absolutely fantastic in the role. She's completely funny at working with all of these nutty characters and doing their nutty thing around her. She comes off as being, funny, sexy, pretty. She's just a real versatile character in this. And the wife is hysterical as the icy British wife in their loveless marriage, and so poor John Cleese, he's just ripe for being corrupted because his daughter basically just wants things from him. His wife is pretty much the same and just ignores him. So he tries to tell her about his day at work. No, she doesn't have any interest at all in that. And so it's like I said,
I gotta say, to be fair, we don't get to see that much of John Cleese's character day to day. He could
yeah.
be one boring person.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm sure that's. I think the two of them were extremely boring, probably, and but then of course they have this band of nuts enter
Have
into
you
their
have you heard about how deadly that scene was?
what? Oh, the French fries and the
The French fries up the nose. Someone laughed to death.
what's that again?
Someone laughed to death in a
Really,
theater on
really,
seeing that scene.
where really? So it was that funny to somebody? I
It
thought
was
you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say he inhaled the food somehow and that it was.
oh no, this is being shown in Denmark,
Yes.
and a Danish guy named Ole Benson
Wow.
found it so hilarious that
Wow.
he just laughed hard enough to put himself in a cardiac arrest.
Wow. Wow. That's that's funny. Well,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, apologies to the guy, but
I know,
and,
but
and
that's
his
still,
family, but you're right. That's pretty
yeah.
darn funny.
To tell you the truth, what a way to go. I mean, you're enjoying yourself so much that you laugh yourself to death. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's
still, can you imagine that is your claim to fame?
yeah.
That's how you are immortalized.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's a little bit of a crazy tribute to the movie that that somebody would have died laughing so hard. You could have put that on the poster, I guess, if you had really poor taste and say,
I think they kind of spun it in a PR way, not officially,
yeah,
but I do think they used it.
this movie can literally make you laugh yourself to death. So, but no, believe me, it is hilarious. And some of the things that were the scenes, again with Michael Palin, he was involved in a lot of the really funny scenes. That whole thing about him trying to get rid of the old woman. There's an old woman
Oh
who,
yeah, that was a
yeah,
riot.
yeah, and she has witnessed and she actually picked the main mastermind of the diamond heist out, and so that's the reason he's in jail. And so he tasks Michael Palin with the job of eliminating the old lady. The old lady has three really nasty little dogs that she takes for a walk every day, and he's actually an animal lover. Does not want to hurt. He doesn't mind hurting people, but does not want to hurt dogs or anything else. And he keeps killing her dogs, and he's crying. He's really upset, but he just can't seem to get her. And that is one of the really funny things going on in this movie. It's funny from beginning to end. It's just a great movie.
It's not quite as funny as I remember it, though.
Uh, See, it's funny that maybe that's just how one person might react, but I actually found some humor in it that I hadn't. I mean, it had been a few years, and I hadn't remembered some of the scenes or as clearly, and some of the performances even. I think I appreciated Kevin Kline's performance even more. He's so psychotic in this, and I actually think that, I mean, look at him there eating that fish, and he's just torturing Kevin Kline with, he loves those fish, and he's like, "Well, should I eat this one? This one looks good. Oh, don't eat the green ones." He's swallowing the guy's fish, but
Kevin Kevin Kline, the actor, said he would eat live fish, and the
really,
directors were like, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So those are all Jello.
Oh, are they? Yeah. Well, it's not that because hey, I dine on fish routinely, so it's not like I have a huge problem with someone swallowing but I also think it's gross to do it. I wouldn't want to do it. I'd want to swallow one that was a Jello one. But
I think it's gross, and I wouldn't. If you had talked to me a few years ago, I wouldn't have had any problem with it
yeah,
until I heard that story about the guy that ate a slug on a dare.
right.
The slug hosted a parasite that got into the guy's brain, put him,
Okay.
I don't know if he put him into a coma or it paralyzed him and then eventually killed
That's a good reason not to do that.
him.
That's another thing. There are so many people that I know and love that love sushi, and uh, I I'll eat like maybe like a California roll, something that's got like very light, almost nothing for like raw fish in it, but or more like countered with some type of tempura frying. But I am not a big sushi fan. I just like the idea of eating. It's like I'd just rather cook it. So,
Oh
but
man,
yeah,
I love sushi. It's got to be good sushi. Like
yeah, yeah,
we're discerning about where we go,
you're right.
but good sushi is fantastic.
Oh, pretty much everybody I know and family members and everything else all love sushi. And I like for me, it's like, well, I'll go too, but I'm gonna eat tempura or something else because it's just, not my thing. But and there's certain ones I do like, but it's
Have
yeah.
you heard the term omakase?
No, what's omakase?
It's basically chef's choice. And
Okay,
so if you're going to a good, well-regarded sushi restaurant with, a
sure.
good sushi chef, you can say, I want omakase.
Ah,
They'll ask you, how much do you want to spend?
really?
And when you give them a price range, it's usually somewhere between $75 and $150, though
Okay,
it can change. Um, they'll just serve you stuff. You won't even know what you're getting half the time.
really,
I mean,
really?
they'll tell you, but it'll be like a surprise until it comes to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I that's another thing I don't want. Don't serve me. What's that fish that is a poison fish that if you don't,
Fugu,
yeah, if you don't prepare that just right, it's your
fugu
last
meat.
meal. Yeah, yeah. So I'll pass on that also. I mean, I don't need to, first of all, I doubt it's that good that it's worth risking. So it's probably more about like a thrill of eating this stuff. I don't know. I
Well,
just can't.
I haven't heard a lot about it, but
Yeah,
one of the things I've heard is that the toxin in it that will kill you,
yeah,
if the chef is good, there'll
right.
be just enough to
Yeah,
cause an interesting
that tingling.
sensation.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I've heard. But and unfortunately, someone has to have like apprenticed in that for years and years to get
And
to
that's the
that
thing.
point.
Good luck finding a place that serves that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure you could in Japan. There was I just recently heard of a guy that died, and I believe he was preparing the fish, and
Yeah.
he probably thought he had the skill, and it's like, I guess you don't, buddy, because you're dead now. But but yes, the scene where Kevin Kline actually really appears to eat fish, and I was actually convinced he swallowed one or two. So they must have, they must have just been realistic jelly or jellied fish. But yeah, the scenes with these two were probably the best scenes in the movie. I mean, him trying to say something and Kevin Kline just mocking him with a go go go, then repeating the word or telling Jamie Lee Curtis he said this or he said that. But the final revenge on on by Michael Palin on Kevin Kline is actually one of the most cathartic. He comes at him uh, with a tar roller basically, and is trying to run him over. And Kevin Kline's like, "Wow, that's like the slowest." He goes, "I think I can outrun this." And then of course he realizes his feet have been stuck in cement, and
Now here's the thing. Like it was a satisfying, cathartic ending
yes,
to Kevin Kline's character, Otto.
yeah,
Otto, I believe. But then he comes back in Fierce Creatures in the other movie. I'm
right.
like, how did you rationalize that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, because even though he was pressed into the cement, which I don't see how he would have survived that at all. But but here's the thing: if you're watching, you can see as they're taking off, as John Cleese and Jamie Lee Curtis, they're sitting in the airplane, and as they're taking off, there's a scene right by the window of John Cleese that he appears like hanging on the side of the jet, and as the jet clears ground, he's covered in cement. But somehow or other, he crawled out of that, and then of course he falls off the plane before it takes off. But so yeah, I guess they made it look like yeah he could have been still alive. But it's a crazy movie. It's a fun movie. I highly recommend it. I don't think there's any bad performances. Which
It's a great movie. I remember it. It's been decades since I'd seen it. I had remembered it as being outrageously hilarious,
yeah, well,
and it's a little tamer than that. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. To me, it played many years later. It played to me just as funny, and the little nuances that happen, the crazy characters, the way Michael Palin pretends he's got a thing for, or Kevin Kline pretends he's got a thing for Michael Palin, and he's using that to distract him, so he's not paying attention to what they're doing. There's so many little things that just make it funny, and it goes on and on. It's it's intricately woven. Like I said, I don't know. I loved it. Uh, I thought it was probably one of the better comedies that I've seen in recent or not recent times, but yeah, it's
Evidently, they had a hard time getting this movie made.
Yeah, yeah.
Because studios would read the screenplay, hear the cast, and then be like, that might be a little risky for us.
Right. Well, to tell you the truth, if someone just told you the plot of the movie, it looks like it's probably more of a plotting film. And if it wasn't helped along by these crazy zany performances, a lot of other movies or a lot of other casts, it would have failed completely. It's only
Mhm.
their talent that actually brings that across, you know. So,
Mhm.
I don't
And
think.
well, at this point in time in 2024, we can look back on the esteemed career of both Kevin Kline and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
In 1988, they certainly weren't A-listers.
No, no, no. No, if anything, I think she started really she started really taking off. Like there were movies like what's the is it that's not Last Action Hero, the one with her and
Oh yeah,
Schwarzenegger.
yeah. True
Yeah,
Lies.
yes. So
I
I
look forward to doing that one. That's a great
yeah,
one.
True Lies is a lot of fun, and she actually like really she plays another very different character. She's playing a like a housewife that suddenly ends up becoming a spy too. And it's a pretty crazy, funny, sexy scene too with her, and it's just she's very good, very good film.
Yep,
But
yep.
I mean, she's been in some clunkers that were she was in that she was in that aerobics one with the Rolling Stone did.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Physical?
Yeah, I think it was Physical. She played an aerobics, a woman that was John Travolta's in that too. It had a lot of
That's right.
yeah, it had a lot of A-listers that actually you would have thought, well, their careers aren't going anywhere now.
Well,
And
again, when that was made, I don't think they were A-listers at the time because John Travolta was like he was known from Grease and Silent Fever, but he still wasn't the star he is now.
no, no, but he was kind of like a rising star, and then he did a couple of real clunkers like that one, and he did the sequel. He did the sequel to which he never should have done, Saturday Night Fever, and he had Stallone, Sylvester Stallone, I think was the producer or director, I don't know which, and he got him all pumped up. He was all ripped for the thing, and they turned it into this crazy like all of a sudden it was like a weightlifting dance-a-thon.
Saturday Night Fever?
It was a sequel to it. um the name escapes me at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen
I
the
gotta say,
entire
I
movie.
haven't seen either one.
Yeah, you can find you can find clips from it on YouTube. Believe me, I haven't never seen the entire movie. I've seen outtakes from it, which I thought were hilarious. And so it was movies like that he had a kind of a star on the rise, and then movies like that shot it down, and suddenly him and like Jamie Lee Curtis too. Because she had her ups and downs. There was the Halloween movies, and but she's had her ups and downs, and all of a sudden she kind of found a niche, and she was off and running. But
Anyway, to drag this back to a fish called Wanda.
right, yes,
Um, although I might drag it back briefly because I think we've talked about the important points. It's a
yeah,
good movie. This is not by any means my favorite. If you had one night to live and you could see all the movies you wanted, this
right.
wouldn't be on my list.
No, or nor
But it's a
mine,
it's a
or mine.
good, solid movie. It's a
Yeah,
great comedy.
yeah, and if you're looking for a good solid comedy that might make you laugh to death, as we found out tonight, um,
Exactly.
it's it will make you laugh if you have a sense of humor. There's some great performances in this. It's truly funny,
And it's
and
a really interesting mix of cerebral and physical comedy.
yeah, I mean, if you look in the background of the picture behind me, there's Jamie Lee Curtis trying to crawl across and there inside that room is also Kevin Kline hidden, uh, which he comes out, pops out like he's telling everybody in the room he's a CIA agent, and and he has this preposterous story, and the wife is icy calm, and she goes, I have family and security, and she's going on and on about they don't perform like you're telling me they do, and she's and then of course he goes into he hates British, and and that's another thing that's hilarious with Kevin Kline's character is his every chance he gets, he tries to make fun of the British, and
But that's another thing that bothered me. Like, for one thing, let's just say that Kevin Kline is great in this. He
yeah,
almost channels Robin Williams in his
yeah,
mannerisms.
yeah, yes,
He's so wacky in this. But they really played up his dislike for the British. And I'm like, why would they have hired this guy? Like,
well,
who brought him in?
yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, and because first of all, Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, is really she's controlling all of these guys with her wiles, and she's kind of got them all. She's keeping everybody. One guy's going out one door, another guy's coming in another door. I mean, she's playing everybody, and she does it
And
real
I
quick.
agree, but like, he just seemed a really bad choice. There
Well,
must have been other weapons experts they could have gotten.
yeah, there's a scene when the character George, that's that goes to prison, the
Yeah.
mastermind. There's a scene where he says something about the guy, like well, he's a not, and she says no, he's really good, or maybe she's telling it to Michael Palin, but she says no, he's really good at his job, and they hired somebody to do some killing, and if they had to do killing, and he when he throws the knife at the wall, he goes, is that what you wanted? And the guy's like, yep. So, I mean, he hired somebody, he hired a maniac, and he got one. So,
And this is why I would have loved to have seen a prequel. Just
yes.
putting this group together, how the
Yeah.
actual heist was carried out. Like what does your plan for a diamond heist involve if you're looking for someone to kill?
Right. Right. Well, believe me, they're winging it throughout this movie. There's all kinds of crazy asides, like these two, their romance and him speaking Italian while he's seducing her. But it's there's all kinds of like little crazy behind the scene going ons, and that's the fun of the movie is the madcap energy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it wouldn't be maybe my top pick for comedy, but it's on up there. I would say
It's again, it's a great, like, if we were going to do top 100,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Well, I would definitely say top 50 for me, maybe top 25 even. So it's very funny movie.
I'm maybe on the top 50, but definitely not top 25.
The problem is, first of all, there's so many great comedies,
Oh,
but
there are so many great
and the other problem too is like I love British comedy, and I love a lot of the guys that came out of the Monty Python era and the Monty Python show, and they have two of them in this one, and they're both damn funny in it. So yeah, John Cleese's ability to um, look really dignified, and yet at the same time he's a complete nut, and he's doing these irrational things. That makes the movie hilarious. And again, like I said, his whether you're talking about his Minister of Silly Walks and in Monty Python, or whether you're talking about him playing a judge in this one, and then look at the guy in the background. It doesn't take anything for Jamie Lee Curtis to turn him into that. So yeah, it's hilarious. It's a very well worth watching movie for anyone that has not seen it. Visit this movie; it's good. So
Well, also, it's what do I want to say? It's not quite wholesome per
no,
se,
no.
but like, it's pretty mild. This is almost anyone could watch this.
Oh yeah, it's actually a movie in some ways. There's enough like zaniness that you probably definitely could show it to kids. I mean, not too small because it would definitely lose their attention. But some of the silliness going on, the stuff with the dogs and the fish and all the craziness, um, you probably could hold you certainly could hold someone junior high age, but
Mhm.
even younger, I think. So yeah, and there's some sexual play, but there's nothing, and even the language isn't terrible. It's
There's nothing
there's
very graphic.
yeah, no. So yeah, it is almost it's a wholesome movie. It's a if it weren't for all the violence and the killing, you
And the
see three
theft.
yeah, you see three dogs die, but the dogs are so annoying. I
Well, you don't see them die either.
no, no, not at all. No, you hear the sound of a cement block falling on one, and then you just see it. The leash is underneath the block, so you're like, "What?" But although I think the one dog that gets run over, he is flattened in the road, but it's nothing. There's no blood or anything. It's just like a dog flattened. So you have to be careful these days with portraying animals dying. People are more sensitive to animals dying than they are to humans.
Oh, I know a lot of them. I,
Uh,
I, I actually I know a lot of people who said to me outright, like, I don't care what happens to other humans, but
yeah.
these animals better be taken care for.
Oh yeah. No, I've heard that same kind of, and that actually kind of bothers me. But I mean, yeah, I love animals myself, but
I
but
mean, I
yeah,
get it. It's not like it utterly mystifies me.
yeah,
Uh, I don't happen to share that.
right. Well, yeah, well that's the thing is like, I get maybe that you don't like a certain celebrity or person, whatever it is, but if you would actually like, I just I don't have anybody that I want to like see their demise. And if I had to choose between an animal and a person, I'm gonna have to choose the animal. It's like, come on. But although it depends on the animal.
And it depends on the person.
Yes, that's true. That's true. There are some I might but let's not get into that. No, I give this one two thumbs up solid, and I thought so when I originally saw it. I feel the exact same way. I think it's an enduring comedy. The comedy is never going to get old. It's it's about things that happen in life and all the craziness, everything in it. It's just a lot of fun. I highly
Mhm.
recommend it. So
Yeah, it's almost got a more European feel. It's
yeah,
definitely a British movie.
yeah,
Um, but it really reminds me of like I'm trying to think, just like a madcap French comedy,
yeah.
something. It's a little more off the wall than I'm used to for the British.
And by the way, this was Dom picked this, but this was actually just
This is a request.
yeah, this was a request, and it was actually Pat. Thank you for the request because yeah, this we owe the doing this to you, and Dom, like I said, thank you for honoring her request because we got another one. We got
We're
another
gonna
one done.
get them,
Yeah.
and we're gonna stop getting them if we don't actually do them.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I've had a number of people approach me with different ones, and we've managed to get at least a couple of them under the belt. So we'll keep at it, keep pecking away at the ones that people request. And please, everybody, if you do have a movie you want to see, put it in the comments, or if you know me or Dom personally, shoot us an email, whatever way you want to do it. But make the request. We'll honor them. So we'll talk about your favorite movie. The Dawn of the Dead one, that was somebody's request, and this one is too. So
Now, granted, we're going to be honest, so we may
yeah,
say we hate your favorite movie.
yeah, it could happen.
Who the heck likes this?
Yeah, yeah. Really? This is what you suggested? No, we won't do that to you. But I mean, we one or the other
We'll
of
be
us pick a.
honest.
Yeah, we'll be honest.
We're
We
not
we
going to be
do
insulting, but we'll be
no. And
honest.
no, well, we do that with each other when one of us picks the movie. I mean, you get an honest opinion. If you really love the movie, then you tell me, and the same with me. It's but yeah, that's just movies are, like I said, movies are like art. It's they are art. They're
Mhm.
subjective. It's, you know, one person's going to like something, another person's going to hate it, and whether it's, you know, it can be a Picasso, and some people look at Picasso and go, it's not for me, and it's like, that's, you know, you may not understand it, you just may not like it. It may not be your thing. So, but this one was definitely my thing. I think it was yours also. And
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I'm definitely giving it two thumbs up.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's good.
yeah. No, I think it's great. But yeah, it's well worth your time. If you've never seen it, you will laugh at this movie. I mean, I pretty much would guarantee that you'll laugh at the movie. It's funny. I mean,
And
you know,
if for no one else, for Kevin Kline, his
yeah,
performance, I do think he steals the show on
he
this.
does. He does. That's, again, that's him peering in the window. If you haven't seen the movie, and he is everywhere Jamie Lee Curtis is, and he's murderous because he Jamie Lee Curtis is his woman. In his book, it's he has a total claim on her, and the scenes where he's trying to stop John Cleese from getting to her are hysterical, and you must see the movie. Very funny, but yeah, I kind of think we've said
We've
the
said all we've got to say
yeah,
about this movie.
really, and a lot, because again, it's damn funny. Kevin Kline's the major reason, and there he is.
Yeah, it's funny. It's got romance. It's unpretentious. It's, again, it's a madcap
Yeah,
farce, sort of.
and it actually is in the field of what I talk about a lot of times. I love con man movies, and it's not a out and out con movie, but the con is going on,
It's
and
con adjacent.
yeah, yes, and it definitely falls in that field. So again, that's another reason for me to love the movie, because I love movies with, yeah, a con job going on, and con men and con women. In fact, if anybody has any, please recommend them, because any con man movies, I'm, there's a ton of them that I know of and like, but if someone has a favorite, suggest it to us. So
But on
yeah,
that note, we might want to cut this short.
sure. Let's wrap this one up, and the next one I'll throw a pick your way soon. But
Looking forward to it.
yeah, we'll meet again next week, Dom. And hey, you have a great day. And I had a great time talking with you about this.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
good. It was good
Always
fun.
fun.
All right, take care, Dom.